I appreciate it very much. It's a pleasure to attend your meeting. I appreciate the resolutions that you passed. The resolution condemning anti-Asian hate, absolutely agree with. 2656 is something I've been urging my borough council to pass and other councils that I have visited, because I think it's altogether fitting and proper, and it's to the benefit of the police and the citizens. Everyone wins with that reform. Thank you. The final resolution was also really good. I agree with that too. So I like the progressive nature of your community. I attended because I wanted to hear about ordinance number 6, and I want to thank the two that voted not to go forward with the ban, and the ones that abstained. Wish you voted no. The yeses, I will take you at your word for the comments you made, as far as you are interested in seeing this potential of this in your community. I think that the ban was unnecessary. At this point in time, you still have until almost the end of August to do a ban. And you saw how quickly you did it at the drop of a dime. It wasn't very hard to do the ban. You could have waited until midsummer and done more homework and research and stayed true to your word of wanting to learn more and make a good decision, instead of making this sort of knee-jerk reaction. And the Cannabis Regulatory Commission just met yesterday, and they're committed to doing this right. And they asked municipalities to give them a chance, and you didn't. So I don't know really what to say as far as convincing you to change your mind, or I mean, I don't think you really made up your mind against it, but you took the action anyway, and I'm sorry about that. I'm disappointed, but I will take you at your word and be looking forward to hearing more about how you plan on getting a quality opportunity for your community. You've already scared off some potential entrepreneurs and investors. Maybe some local people that want micro licenses are now going to look to other towns. So who knows what you'll be left with? Some kind of corporate cannabagger operation, or maybe nobody will be interested and you'll miss out on an opportunity. Right now, the underground market is serving your community. People on the street who are offering PCP or cocaine or whatever they want and not asking for any ID. So you want to take the reins and control the whole operation, as you do with alcohol and pharmaceuticals. So thank you, though, for keeping an open mind. I appreciate this. It was a good discussion, and I didn't hear any reefer madness. I didn't hear insulting rhetoric and untrue statements. So I have faith that you're going to continue to work on this and evolve, and maybe in the future, if not now, a generation or two later when we're deceased, you'll be on the right track. But I appreciate the opportunity to speak. And as far as the Johns, I'm from Eatontown. I remember Senator Bennett, and I remember Governor Bennett. I think you're lucky to have such an administrator with such credentials. So thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for your comments, Jeff.
The next person I see is Mateo Hoyas.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Blackman and Board of Aldermen. My name is Mateo Hoyos. I reside in 7 South Main Street in Wharton, New Jersey. First, I would like to congratulate Jonathan Delaney and John Bennett. I'm sure you both will do great things for the town of Dover. But I've come here today to share with you all a short presentation I've put together regarding the community impact of cannabis industry. I'll be sharing my screen so you all can follow along as I read. Second. Have you guys disabled the screen sharing?
Yes, this public comment.
Yes, sir. All right, I'll go along anyway. So feel free to stop me at any point. So positive community impacts. Marijuana dispensaries are associated with a significant reduction in opioid-related deaths. A study published by the British Medical Journal found that higher medical and recreational storefront dispensary counts are associated with reduced opioid-related deaths rates, particularly deaths associated with synthetic opioids such as fentanyl. Research shows an increase from 1 to 2 storefront dispensaries in a county is associated with an estimated 17% reduction in all opioid-related mortality rates and an estimated 21% reduction in death rates caused by synthetic opioids other than methadone. Direct and indirect tax benefits for your town. Municipalities may charge a 2% tax on all gross receipts. So a micro dispensary in your town selling 30% of its permissible volume amount, which is about 300 pounds per month, would generate an annual tax revenue of $450,000 per year at current medical marijuana prices. A study published by Contemporary Economic Policy found that the introduction of a new dispensary within a half-mile radius of a new home increased home prices by approximately 7.7% on average. This in turn will increase property tax revenue on these homes. Recreational cannabis decreases crime rates. A study published by Regional Science and Urban Economics found that an additional dispensary in a neighborhood leads to roughly a 19% decline relative to the average crime rate over the sample period. The study found that crime rates in Denver, Colorado increased by 1.7%, except in neighborhoods that gained dispensaries. I'll go over some debunked misconceptions. Recreational cannabis would increase the number of car accidents involving drivers who use marijuana. This is a lie. A study published by the Journal of American Public Health Association discovered that there was not an increase in crash fatalities during the first 3 years of legalization in Colorado and Washington. The Colorado Division of Criminal Justice report found that the number of drivers in fatal crashes who were above the legal limit of THC decreased by nearly 33%. A recreational cannabis dispensary would increase use amongst high schoolers. A study published by Journal of Cannabis Research concluded recreational cannabis dispensaries in a community does not appear to change student cannabis use or perception towards cannabis. Children are highly impressionable by the acts of their parents, so it is the responsibility of the guardian to not use cannabis in plain sight of their child. Banning dispensaries will prevent marijuana consumption in our town. As the war on drugs has shown, the prohibition of drugs does not stop people from obtaining it. Where there is a demand, someone will come with a supply. Banning a dispensary in your town will only give the profits to black market dealers, which don't pay taxes, has no quality assurance, and ultimately does not care how old their customers are. According to ArcView, a research market latest study on the nation's cannabis industry, Colorado had the smallest rate of black market cannabis transactions by far compared to other states. At just 27% of total spending, this demonstrates that the black market can be largely replaced by legal regulated sales. Look at some local support. Statewide, public question 1 overwhelmingly passed with 71% yes votes. Morris County saw 61.2% yes majority with over 180,000 registered voters agreeing with legislation of recreational cannabis. If Dover's approval rating reflect that of our county, over 10,000 Dover residents could be seeking legal avenues to acquire medical cannabis. Hosting one of the first cannabis dispensaries in Morris County will provide a hefty boost to municipal tax revenue. Now, my proposed business, Delta 9 Therapeutics, family-owned business. Me and my family originally came from Columbia. We immigrated to Dover, New Jersey in the year 2000. We resided in Dover for a few years before moving to Wharton, where we have remained since. We still have many relationships with many Dover residents and are frequent patients of several Dover businesses. We believe our micro dispensary will be well received by the majority of the Dover community. Our mission and community impact promise to you guys. Our mission is to bring safe and pleasurable products to cannabis users and ensure our registered medical patients never feel the effects of cannabis shortages. State and local regulation compliance will be our #1 priority. We will work closely with local elected officials and residents to ensure Dover's wants and needs are met. At all times, there will be a minimum reserve of 10 pounds only accessible to registered medical patients in the event of a cannabis shortage. Registered medical patients will pay wholesale prices on all our products. Along with municipality tax, Dover can expect an additional percentage of our profits and donations to Dover sports programs and social services programs. Our employees will also be incentivized to volunteer through our paid volunteering program. So as a summary, as many of you can tell by now, cannabis is not the villain that has been historically portrayed as. Dover has a lot of benefits to reap from permitting cannabis industry to operate within your borders. My family and I would be honored to launch one of those businesses and look forward to working with you all to establish a dispensary Dover will be proud of.
Mayor, that's 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. I'm
Thank you.
finished. Thank you.
Mr. Hoyas, would you be so kind as to share that presentation with us via email, if possible?
Yes, please. I can get your email down.
Sure. Mr. Bennett, would it be okay to send it to Mr. Schmidt to send to the whole board since we couldn't see it?
To send which? The presentation.
And if you want to send it to the email to Dover, the Dover clerk email on the agenda, doverclerk@dover.nj.us.
Yes, sir.
I'll distribute a copy to each member of the board of aldermen.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your open-mindedness. I appreciate having this time to talk.
Right, absolutely. Okay.
The next hand I have is Jake Efros. You can
Yes.
state your name.
Hi there. My name is Jake Efros. I'm at 322 Webster Avenue in Jersey City, New Jersey. Apologize for speaking earlier when it wasn't the correct public comment time. I misunderstood. Appreciate the opportunity to speak right now. Also would like to echo the sentiments of previous speakers in the opposition to the prohibition on marijuana, on cannabis, in the geographical boundaries of Dover. I'm here on behalf of the North New Jersey Democratic Socialists of America, a group that has actually done a significant amount of organizing and work around the successful vote to legalize marijuana in New Jersey. A lot of activism and organizing went into getting folks to vote yes on proposition. And all of that activism and organizing was based on, the years and years and years of fact finding and research around understanding exactly what it is that the legalization of marijuana and cannabis at the recreational level actually accomplishes. And the statistics, particularly that Mateo brought up, but I couldn't bring up any better information than that. I think that should serve you all well as a basis of information to move forward. I will just say this, almost 2/3 of Morris County voted yes to legalize marijuana. 2/3 of the the vote on that proposition, and I think it would be a disservice to the Dover community to continually delay what has already been such a delayed and drawn out process of making this happen and manifesting it. So it would be an incredibly great opportunity to do the research while these businesses are starting to get off the ground, and with the knowledge that, again, as the statistics before me pointed out, that this is safe, this is necessary, and a requisite to advance the social equity agenda that it does seem this board is interested in advancing, because as we know that the legalization of recreational cannabis and marijuana in our state is not just about the economic interest, which is certainly an interest for Dover, right? Getting that tax revenue, but also making sure that we achieve social equity in all municipalities across North Jersey. So again, I just want to share those sentiments on behalf of a regional organization that has been doing a lot of work around this. And again, I appreciate the invitation to come speak tonight by Carol Ruiz from Wind of the Spirit. And I'm grateful for the attention of you all, and do hope that there is no prohibition on something that, again, 2/3 of this county voted to actually finally legalize after so many years of fighting to make it happen. Thank you.
You.
All right. The next person is Chris Velasquez. You could state your name and address and go ahead.
Yes, Christian Velasquez, 10 Fifth Street, Dover, New Jersey. I'm here today to oppose the ordinance banning cannabis businesses in the town of Dover. 2/3 of New Jersey voted to legalize cannabis. We are now the majority, and let me say, it feels pretty good to say that, because my whole life I have been looked down upon because of my cannabis consumption. I knew deep down that what everyone said about cannabis was not true. I knew it was a medicine for me. I have been battling most of my life against the stigma, whether it was in the courtroom or with my own family, rehab and probation, to becoming a legal patient and fighting for cannabis patient rights. In everyone else's eyes, it was just as dangerous as heroin, because that's what the prohibition of cannabis made everyone believe for the last 100 years. I have been consuming cannabis for more than a decade, and the worst thing that has ever happened to me has been because of the prohibition of cannabis. Prohibition almost ruined my life, but thankfully, cannabis has kept me grounded through it all. I almost did not graduate because of the prohibition of cannabis. It caused a poor relationship with my parents. I had to pay a lot of fines, but I did work hard and get my diploma. I couldn't afford college because I had all those fines, so I took a chance and entered in the Lincoln Tech scholarship contest. I won a scholarship for a electrical service technician program. I completed Lincoln Tech, but I was still stuck. No one wanted to hire someone with a record for cannabis. I would get through the interviews, they would go great. I would be excited until they ran that background check. Sorry, you got a record. We can't hire you. A lot of people have struggled with this problem. A lot of people here in Dover. Having cannabis businesses in Dover will create many jobs and opportunities for those that have been set back in life because of the prohibition of cannabis. I believe Dover should welcome and embrace resident and minority-owned micro cannabis businesses that care about the community and set the standard for Morris County. That's what I want to see in Dover. It would be definitely that's what I want to see in Dover. It would definitely help the community more than all the liquor stores and bars that we currently have. Currently, there is nowhere in Morris County to purchase medical cannabis. I have to travel an hour both ways to go to a dispensary. We need more access, and I believe this can be a major opportunity for Dover. I want to point out that the only difference between recreational and medical is the tax. The medicine is the same. And now that it's legal for everyone 21 and up, it can now be used as preventative medicine or over-the-counter medicine like Advil. The cannabis community is tired of hiding in the weed closet. We care about our town too, and we want to have safe, affordable access to cannabis in Dover. We want to educate the public about the benefits of cannabis and how to use cannabis safely. I see that there's an I Love Dover cleanup this weekend, and I'm a part of a Sativa Cross nonprofit, and we fight for cannabis patient rights. And we would love to volunteer a couple of patients and cannabis supporters in this cleanup to clean up Dover. So we will be excited to join your efforts this weekend, Mayor. Again, I wish for you to not pass this ban on cannabis in Dover. The people want to access cannabis, and we don't want any more delays. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. We'll see you Saturday morning with your team.
The next person is Marina. That's all right. You can state your name and address.
Yes, it's Marina, like where you dock a boat. Last name Rebmann. I live in Sayreville.
Can you repeat that?
I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. Marina, like where you dock a boat. Marina. Last name Rebmann, Reb as in boy, Mann. I live in Sayreville, New Jersey. I'd like to discuss my journey.
What was your address? I didn't catch it.
Sayreville, New Jersey.
What was the address?
Sayreville. Oh, you need the exact 3 Borough Square.
Thank you.
My journey with medical cannabis started 3.5 years ago. When I was little, I was born with a birth defect, and I had to have lots of surgeries on my leg. And back then, they did things totally different. Your parents weren't allowed to stay over, and you had to be a big girl. I was told this at 1, 2, and 3, 4 years old. And it was scary being there in a big hospital in New York City all by yourself. And yes, at night times they would tie you in so you wouldn't escape. I don't know what, but that also made my anxiety worse. When I had to have surgery, they would wheel me in there. My parents weren't there. I was told to be a big girl. You had these masks on, these things on, and everyone was like, oh, you'll be fine. And I woke up and I wasn't fine. I was out of my mind with drugs. And then in 2017, unfortunately, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I lost 50 pounds in 3 weeks. And it was horrible. And it took me over a month for me to get my medical cannabis card. And once I started taking my medicine, my medical cannabis, everything was a lot better. I stopped vomiting. I was able to live. I was able to have fun. My anxiety is so bad right now that sometimes when I see my doctors, they say, please smoke. Has anyone had a doctor tell you, please smoke medical cannabis before you see me? My blood pressure sometimes goes up to 199 because of my anxiety, because of what happened to me in the past. I'm also part of Sativa Cross. My dispensary is over an hour, is 30 minutes away, one way. So I get there, if I have to go to and if there's a line, it's even more time. And I can't use the bathroom. So I could be there for a couple of hours. And it's horrible because you have no bathroom access, and these are disabled people. There's only 10 dispensaries in New Jersey. You have 400 CVS's, 200 Walgreens, and 10 medical dispensaries. That's like insane. You have in your county, you have six medical marijuana doctors that prescribe medical cannabis. Some of them are oncologists, neurology, oncologists, family practice, infectious disease, cardiology, and you even have a pediatrician who believes in this medicine so much to help children that they prescribe it to them. So just please keep it open mind, and I thank you so much for listening to me. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you.
Okay, the next person is Lefty Grimes. If you could state your name and address.
Good evening. This is Lefty Grimes. I'm with sativacross.org, a 501c3 in New Jersey, advocating for disabled persons and for cannabis patients. I live at 84 Hanover Road, East Hanover, and we're getting hit from all sides as medical cannabis patients, and we need your help. 1 out of 10 patients die every year. We lost a bunch, lost family, lost friends. And I've seen the struggles my friends have gone through trying to get their medicine, trying to afford their medicine, what they have to go without because they can't afford their medicine. So what, you have to make a choice. You're going to put food on your table, or you're going to get medicine for your cancer or your multiple sclerosis or whatever horrible disease that you have that God's medicine is helping with. We don't ban pharmacies that are selling synthetic marijuana, but all the pharmacies sell Marinol and Dronabinol. That's synthetic marijuana. That's what man made. What man took God's medicine and man made it into something that's poison. We don't want that anyway. I don't want Marinol. I prefer full plant, the whole plant therapy with the CBD, the THC, all those cannabinoids work together. The terpenes work together. If you have diabetes, there's a certain strain that you can use for diabetes. It's got THCV in it, verotamine. And these are things that have just been discovered because there was no research all these years. So we're so far behind on research. The only people that are really doing good research right now is Israel. They're way far ahead. And we need to get to that point where the patients can get their medicine tested because, like I said, we're getting hit from all sides. We're getting moldy medicine from corporate cannabis. We don't want corporate cannabis. I want mom and pop cannabis. I want hand-trimmed craft cannabis. I don't want Walmart weed. I'm a patient. I have standards that I've set for myself for my medicine, and I'm not going backwards. I want to go forwards and have clean, tested medicine, regulated that's I know it's safe. Right now, the black market that's serving your town is who knows what's in that? Are they going to sell cocaine with that? They're not going to ID anybody, so anybody can go get black market cannabis. I think you just need to consider the sick and the dying when you make any decision. People in wheelchairs, think about how it would be to live in a wheelchair. spend a day in a wheelchair and see what it's like. I do a lot of activism with my church, with in general. We've gotten cannabis back for patients that have lost their cannabis through law enforcement. Is that my timer? We've gotten back a quarter pound of cannabis for one guy. We got back pens and bongs for others. We podcast from the State House for 7 years. We've been outside the State House podcasting on the lawn, trying to talk to our legislators. And it's been successful. We had 3 of our vets go and testify to get PTSD as a covered condition for cannabis. And, it's like every step we have to make and fight. But consider yourself in a wheelchair where a step is a wall. It's tough. And you can't get a ride. That ride's going to cost you money. People say, oh, you can get cannabis delivered. Maybe from the black market, but so far Jake's Law has not kicked in yet, and that's another fee. So we're paying for a tax. We're paying for overpriced medicine. They're not trying to tax insulin. Can you imagine if they taxed insulin? What the outrage would be? Or any of the drugs that anybody takes. That's a bad trend to start taxing medicine. And it's bad enough we have a wheelchair tax and a cancer tax. I would fight against that. If you do legalize both, if you legalize dispensaries in your town, both, please don't tax medical, just tax recreational. Medical patients can't be overtaxed. We're already overtaxed. So please help us patients and help us get home grow. Please help us. That's all we're asking. We need help. Thank you. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Mayor, I was on mute. The next hand I had was Jamie Van Scriver. You take your name and address.
Yes, Jamie Van Sciver, Greenwich Avenue, Paulsboro, New Jersey.
All right, can you repeat the address for me?
427 Greenwich Avenue, Paulsboro, New Jersey.
Thank you.
I also am with Sativa Cross, also a cannabis patient. I'm not really understanding why we're not recognizing the difference between medical and recreational. We're at a point of time that recreational is legal right now, and we're still stigmatizing people's natural medical choices, and I don't understand it. I personally have immune illness, systemic lupus. My immune system attacks my soft tissue, organs, muscles, tendons, ligaments, skin, pretty much everything that's not bone. I was having to get infusions. I was having to take immune suppressants, anti-malarials to protect my kidneys. That was the favorite target of my immune system. Antidepressants, like you're not feeling well during all of this. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with antidepressants, specifically SSRIs. They increase the desire of suicide. That's not what we need. We have veterans that are dealing with physical ailments and PTSD. Why are we giving them these things that are increasing desire of suicide? I don't understand it. We have an endocannabinoid system in our body, and it's meant to work with a plant that was put on this earth. The pharmaceutical industry is making all of these things that people are overdosing on. These things I could get for free, delivered to my door, no challenge at all. But I have chronic pain and chronic illness, so those things are not going away. And I don't want to start taking something that I'm going to build a tolerance to, and in turn, my body's going to need and want more of, just ravaging myself sooner. I really ask that you at least consider making it available for people in your community for medical need. I personally am unable to drive because of my condition. I used to consider myself somewhat lucky having a dispensary within a half an hour radius. But as previous people had stated, they have moldy medication. My lungs are already vulnerable from the damage that my immune system's done. I can't take that gamble. The next one is over an hour away. If I were to bite the bullet and figure out how to juggle an $80 Uber ride each way, $160 round trip, and I get there to find out that there's a shortage and I'm only able to get a quarter ounce of medication. So basically I just took a $160 ride for a quarter ounce of my 3-ounce allotment. It's not as easy as I think people assume that it is. And I understand that it's your level of perception, but please hear these people and myself. It's not easy and it is difficult. And people want to attend to their own needs. They don't want someone running all of their errands as if they're a child. They want to go select their own items from the supermarket and look at the variety. They want to participate in life. Like being in a wheelchair, you might as well be like house arrest or bedbound, man. Like, why go out at all? The post office will pick up packages. The supermarket will deliver some select items from a menu. That's not what people need. They need to be able to make their own choices. And they're able to do that in a pharmacy with substances that are killing people. And I just ask that you keep your minds open. I unfortunately will not be able to come with the crew on Saturday, but Mayor Blackman, I would love to offer you 8 hours of my community service volunteering to any organization or event. And all that I would ask would be 8 minutes of being able to speak with you. And you could tell me what you want to know about, what you would like to know about, who you would like to get in touch with. If there's a dispensary that you would like to visit, we would love to help you with as much information as possible to make sure that everyone is making a very informed decision for the community, especially when people that are suffering are involved. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Jamie, thank you for that information, and our clerk has your information. Thank you.
The next person is Carol Reese. Carol, if you could state your name and address, and go ahead.
Carol Ruiz, 86 South Morris Street, Dover, New Jersey. This is one of my favorite meetings that I've ever been to of the Dover Board of Aldermen. I am here in my personal capacity. I do not speak for any of the organizations or boards which I have the privilege of serving. I have several things and I know a short time, so I'll start with the first. I had asked Jake to come on and share some thoughts because I thought I would not be able to be at this meeting today. Dover lost one of our longtime residents, Rafael Quiñones Sr., and he's survived by his wife, Marisela, who is a musician at the Holy Rosary Catholic Church in our community, and his 3 sons, Kenny, Rafael, and Jose, who we all know as Little J, and who many of you know, certainly our first responders know. He had an accident and had his leg badly injured in the Crescent Field area. So I was at that wake today, and again, remembering how fragile life is, how loving and tight our community is. So I share that just for any of you who had the pleasure of listening to Mr. Quiñones singing down Prospect Street or playing his congas at any time of day or night, which brought me certainly lots of joy, or walking his dogs down Prospect Street and toward Crescent Field. Please send his family love. Thinking about that the importance of life, I want to thank the speakers from Sativa Cross today and from the DSA or SDA. I always get the Democratic Socialist Association letters mixed up, but Jamie and Jeff and Jake and Lefty and Marina, and I think I might have missed one, but such moving testimony, and thank you so much for sharing your private life. You shouldn't have to bare your soul and your wounds in order for the rest of us to listen. So I do echo their calls to help us open our minds and our hearts and let go of some of our prejudice against cannabis. I myself, it has been a long journey with me in the past, for me, the past 5 years, trying to understand cannabis use. And I'm a full supporter of any and all, actually, let me take that back. I'm a full supporter of the types of businesses that Mateo Hoyos, Dover grown, right? That he is hoping to bring to our community. And I am not supportive, as Lefty mentioned, of another corporate business coming to rape our community. I do want this to be our own, something that our community can be proud of. And I'm looking forward to also seeing that presentation that Mateo Hoyos had ready for us, because everything he said was really illuminating. I want to say that we have many residents, but one of our residents who was a friend of my son's and for whom we did a great campaign, he was deported because he had cannabis for personal use in his car. Was stopped on some other issue. The car was searched. He had a fine and ended up deported. Had been in the United States since he was 4 years old and is now living in Uruguay because of cannabis. You know, we were just I think about a year too late in decriminalizing cannabis, and he was deported. We've lost way too many of our community members to incarceration and deportation because of that stigma. And I'm glad that it's over on the state level, thanks to the work of these activists. And we really got to work on educating ourselves in our community. I also want to address policing in our community. If you had told me a year ago, 2 years ago, that I would one day support any police officer for chief, I would have laughed in your face. And as I have told, when I advocate for something, I'm advocating for the people and for what's better, or for what I think is best, or for our community, not for a particular person. I don't know now, Chief Delaney. I just met him in really the past year or two. I didn't know his father. I'm sure that all the praise that the members of this board showered on him is true, but that is not why I support Delaney. I support Delaney because I saw him walk the walk.
That's 5 minutes, just letting you know, for the record, Mayor.
I'll wrap it up, Madam Mayor. I saw him walk the walk and respond to the Black Lives Matter Morristown Summer Series in a way that no other police official in Morris County, and a few that I worked with in Bergen County or Jersey City or Newark or even New York, he was truly an exemplary leader. And I support him because I want him to use that leadership at the state level with the transparency bill and other efforts. So thank you all.
Thank you, Carol.
The next hand is Chris Amata.
Hello?
Hi.
We can hear you. State your name and address.
Christopher Almada, 159 Mount Hope Ave. I'm a Dover resident. Also went through all public schools in Dover. And I am also a cannabis patient. And I am also a Sativa Cross organization. I suffered a car accident 4 years ago where I shattered my pelvis, ripped my urethra, and fractured L4 in my tailbone. I was in and out of the ICU and rehab facilities for about 3 years.
I love you too much.
I just started walking again last year, and
I'll help balance it out a little.
started with getting off the pharmaceuticals, the Neurontin, the nerve blockers that didn't let me use those nerves and activate those nerves. Getting off that, I saw a lot of improvement in my walking. I now walk with a cane, and I sometimes I guess I get a little irresponsible and I walk without my cane. And it's good to laugh about it now. I didn't see it 3 years ago, but a medical dispensary would definitely help me, and it would have helped me before taking all those rides with a shattered pelvis, getting in and out of a wheelchair from a car. Sorry, it's emotional. But yeah, if it would have been more local and more accessible for me, I wouldn't have to suffer so much pain. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Mayor, I have one final hand, last hand on here. Named by Diego. Diego, if you want to state your name and address and go ahead.
Hi, how's it going? Good evening. My name is Diego Aguilar. I live on 57 Samus Avenue in Dover, New Jersey. I just want to reiterate the opposition of the prohibition of the sale of cannabis in our town of Dover as well. I've personally dealt with the stigma of marijuana for 9 years. I've been a conflicted cannabis user because I've had tremendous benefit to my overall mental health, and I believe it's not an overstatement to say that it's helped save my life. But I was also treated as a criminal and have been forced to go to outpatient rehab services for being caught smelling like marijuana at the Dover High School, not ever having any on my person. The people at the outpatient services treated our quote unquote treatment as a joke, and they knew that we were there for something minuscule and not at all as dangerous as things such as alcohol or other Schedule I substances. This comes from years of misinformation and has led to an insane amount of injustice for people all across New Jersey. I've personally paid thousands of dollars in fines all across New Jersey, but I would much rather have seen that money go to our own community, not just from people in our town, but people all across Morris County and New Jersey, especially if we would be one of the first businesses, or one of the first towns rather, to have cannabis business be allowed. Considering the comparison of alcohol and cannabis, is fairly obvious which one is clearly safer and which one has a much higher potential for abuse. And we have over 10 different bars and liquor stores with licenses to sell alcohol freely all across Dover. I believe the benefits far outweigh the negatives of allowing cannabis sales in our town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, that's all the hands I have.
If there are no other public comments, let me make a motion to close the public portion.
Mayor, real quickly, I don't know, I'm so sorry. I don't know if we had a chance to congratulate Wojer on his promotion as sergeant. I think he's off the call now, but I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate him.
Oh, okay, thank you. As we close out our meeting, we want to thank all of the people that came to share their thoughts and ideas on the marijuana, and this board will keep an open mind when making decisions on what we intend to do. It's something that I think we need to take our time in doing, so that's what this board is looking to do. Also, we've shared a lot here tonight. We've covered a lot. I know you guys have to go to work tomorrow, and it's John Bennett's first day on the job to really work. And Jonathan Delaney's really first day on the job to work. So I hope they get to bed early. But we really do want to congratulate and thank John Bennett and John Delaney, our Officer Wojo, I got his name correct, and our transfer officer that's coming into the town of Dover, and also the introductory of our budget this evening. We should feel very proud of the work that this board is doing and what we have done to make all of these things happen. They don't happen overnight, but with a team effort, you can make a lot of difference and make things happen. And we should be very proud to welcome John Bennett. I work very well with him. I keep him in line every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's like John, John, John. So welcome to the Johns, and welcome to all of the people that are helping to make this town to be successful. And we're going to continue to do what is right for the citizens in the town of Dover. If there are no other comments,
I have a quick comment, Mayor. It's real quick. I just want to thank the board, the mayor, for that great Easter event last week. I don't think we've had a chance to talk about it, but I don't know if you have the stats, but I know for sure we handed out over 1,000 eggs or 1,000 bags.
yes, thank you for that. Yeah,
It was crazy.
It was a great event. All righty. I think the adults had more fun than the kids, but that's besides the point. All righty. We need a motion for an adjournment, and I have, I think, 10:30, if I have the right time.
Mayor,
10:24.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I just say one thing?
Yes,
I'll be brief. There was a couple Easter eggs left over, so they're being utilized as capsules for the primary election draw, which is on Friday at 3 o'clock. We're also it's gonna be at Town Hall, but we're also gonna simulcast it online on YouTube for any candidate to watch. That's for the county committee races on the Democratic side. So just wanted to add that. And
thank you.
I look forward to coming into work in the office, and maybe I can speak for Ray here and watching John Bennett and Carolyn, because it makes you laugh, and that's a good thing in the office.
Thanks, John, really. All right, we need a motion for an adjournment, please.
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
I'll second it.